In life, there are times when things happen and you are a number of people and you don't, some of you or most of you or even all of you do not notice. It needs one to have a keen ear and a keen eye to notice something that may have seemed routine, but it is not routine. If you look at the video, there is the captain of Ulinzi Stars who was promoted 2 ranks from senior private to corporal, jumping the lance corporal. There's something. I'll tell you to rewind that YouTube. Just go to the YouTube and type General Kanyariri or CDF promotes the Harambee Star footballer. You'll see, if you notice, if you watch it twice or thrice, you'll have noticed that there was something that happened that you didn't notice. But then, that is the purpose of today's recording. Did you see what the sergeant major did behind the general? If you look at the picture, especially the video, as I said, if you replay that YouTube video of what the sergeant major did behind the back of the General Hariri, the CDF, we are told. Anyway, it is not connected to this, but people say that you do something behind your back. But this one, he did it behind the back, but it is not what people usually refer. If you are not in the security sector, or if you have no keen interest in security sector, you may not have noticed what the sergeant major did behind the general. I still repeat, you go back to that video and see how he has done. Having told you that, is maybe you'll notice him craning his neck. I request you to rewatch it at least twice. After which after watching this video, the footballer was being acknowledged for by being promoted. He was being acknowledged for the role he played in the Chan football. We will look at the various responsibilities, starting with the responsibilities from a corporal to a general. I'm saying so because we had several generals there. Then we had the sergeant major, and we had the corporal. We will look at it with special emphasis on duties and responsibilities of various NCOs, especially a sergeant major. The sergeant major in the video is called DFSM. DFSM. That is Defense Forces Sergeant Major. Defense Forces Sergeant Major. The highest enlisted rank in the military. You may have noticed that the footballer was promoted from senior private to corporal, bypassing lance corporal. Being the Ulinzi Football Club team captain, he's an overall of 15 players. He is the overall leader of 15 players. Now, in the military terms, around that number makes what we call a section. So being a corporal is the right rank for him to have been there, because even being the captain of the football team, it shows that he has around 15 soldiers under him. So it would be okay for him to be a corporal. That is the right thing. Because a corporal is a section commander. A corporal is a section commander, and a section is the smallest unit in a military. The smallest unit in a military. Section commander, a section, because a corporal is a section commander, a section is composed of around a dozen soldiers, with the lance corporal being both the second in charge and the gunner, who carries the heavy gun. That is a section which is under a corporal. Several sections form a platoon. Several sections form a platoon. A platoon normally has 32 soldiers. A platoon normally has about 32 soldiers. It is headed by either a second lieutenant or a full lieutenant. It is headed either by a sub-lieutenant or a full lieutenant. He is deputized by a sergeant. He is deputized by a sergeant. So you find that in a platoon, there are a few sections there, each headed by a corporal. Each headed by a corporal. But from a section before you go to the platoon, you find that there is the deputy platoon commander who is a sergeant. Several platoons make a company. Several platoons make a company. A company is either headed by a captain or a major. A company is either headed by a captain or a major. Where the major is the company OC, usually the head of a company is called OC, or officer in charge. Where the OC of a company is a major, he is deputized by a captain. And where a captain is OC, then he is deputized by a senior lieutenant. Is deputized by a senior lieutenant. That is what we call a company. Now, to coordinate within that company, you'll find that a company it has several platoons. To coordinate the enlisted soldiers, kwa Kiswahili tunasema wale hawajaanza kuvaa mawe. To coordinate various enlisted soldiers between different platoons and the company headquarters is a senior sergeant. Is a senior sergeant who is called CSM. CSM, that is Company Sergeant Major. Company Sergeant Major. In the GSU, CSM is called Camp Sergeant Major. That is because of a GSU camp. Now, several companies make a regiment or a battalion. And to coordinate all the work that you have seen between platoon sergeant, whatever, and company sergeant major, the one who does their job, but at a bigger level, higher level than a company, the highest enlisted fellow is called RSM. Because it is a regiment, the fellow is called Regimental Sergeant Major, RSM. Usually they put on their right hand something like that looks like a watch, a wristwatch. Each of the three services, now that is the Regimental Sergeant Major is in charge of every regiment. Each of the three services, they have a warrant officer who does the work of coordinating the enlisted fellow, like company sergeant major, regimental sergeant major, but at the service level, there are three sergeant majors who are foresaid. One is called Army Sergeant Major, ASM. The other one is called Air Force Sergeant Major, AFSM, and Navy Sergeant Major, NSF. The three are under the three are under DFSM. The three are under DFSM. DFSM is Defense Forces Sergeant Major. That is the fellow now you saw craning his neck. So the one you saw on that doing that was the DFSM, Defense Forces Sergeant Major. Now, let us now go, after explaining that, it means that he is the overall person, he's the overall person coordinating matters of discipline, both discipline, parade, and so on, of all the, in the police they call them subordinate officers, but in the military they are called servicemen or service personnel. So the Defense Force Sergeant Major is the one who is who coordinates that. Now let us go to the picture, because that is the topic of today. We are talking of the DFSM, that is the Defense Forces Sergeant Major. You can see him craning his. I'll explain that, but you'll see that is the person we want to discuss. Why was he behaving strangely that way? There was a photo session with this what do you call Ulinzi Football Club captain. He took pictures with the generals, and as after the pictures were taken, now everybody started leaving, including the Defense Forces Sergeant Major. He was leaving, but then he noticed something. He noticed that both as the Defense Forces Sergeant Major was about to leave, he noticed that there were talks. Between General Kahariri, the chief of the Defense Forces, and the newly promoted corporal. They were talking in low tones. So he decided to monitor by hiding behind the CDF, while making sure that the football captain didn't notice him, and he tried to listen to their talks. He tried to listen to their talks. And that is the purpose of our talks today. The Defense Force Sergeant Major did not want both to know that he was monitoring. So he was hiding between the general. And that is what, when I joked and said that it reminds one of the things that people talk about, doing things behind my back. So, but this one was a bit different. It was not that they were doing things behind my back, but he was hiding behind the back, trying to listen and hear what is being talked between he did not want even the general to know. If the general would have known, he would have just dismissed him and told him, "Give me free time with this fellow." So he wanted to hear what was being talked, and hiyo ndio tabia ya mameja, but I'll come to that. With all due respect, if a corporal is talking to the general, nobody else is supposed to monitor. Nobody is supposed to monitor, especially those in the disciplined profession. Those in the disciplined profession. That is why the Defense Force Sergeant Major didn't want the general to know that he was listening from behind him. He also wants the corporal not to know that he was monitoring, so that he didn't want both the general and the corporal to know that he was listening in. Why so? You see, especially the corporal, what would happen is that when he's very free and relaxed, he may misspeak. If he's free and relaxed, he may misspeak. They say when past tense is called misspoke. He may misspeak, They talk over things that maybe the sergeant major would not have approved. Supposing the soldier misspeaks, hey, watch a general end. Watch a general end. He will know that the warrant officer will really spit fire because of that. These people, the RSM, the regimental sergeant major, the company sergeant major, or even the line sergeant major in the police, they all have that tabia. Remember, I was a police constable for 5 years before I became an inspector. They take the advantage of being close to the bosses, even to undermine inspectors and lieutenants. I remember there were two inspectors when I was a constable in West Pokot. There were two inspectors, sorry to say, but one was a Luo by tribe and the other one was a Meru by tribe. The line sergeant major, Sergeant Kimaru, was a Munandi from Mosoriot. Now, the Luo inspector who was a son of a senior police officer. His father had even worked with the line sergeant major. So I remember one time, whenever there was an operation where he knew that it was dangerous, the people would not come back safe or anything, or he would not want to expose the person. He would tell the OCS or the OCPD that the Meru inspector is in makutano drinking. Why can't you replace that? Anaeka fitina na kurudi nyuma. That is how it is. For those of you who have worked in the nini, says huyu mtu ni mzuri, then he does some funny thing. Kwanza hii kubwa sana. And you are facing the boss. He's behind you. So he says mambo yake anafanyaga mambo kubwa, trying to show that your head is very big. That is what they do behind you. If you are junior to them and they take you to the seniors, what they are talking and the hand signs they are doing is the same thing. I mean, if you listen, if you are the junior officer who is being paraded before a senior person, if you hear what he's saying, you think he's praising you. But since you are not seeing the signs at the back, the signs that he's making, huyo nzuri sana kwanza kabisa 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 kabisa. So you think you're being praised, but at the back is undermining you. That is what they use. They used to do that to junior officers. But if you are a senior, especially if you are a younger inspector, you see these people, like when I was a constable, especially in Wajir, there were some senior sergeants who used to work with my father. So when you are a young person and you are commissioned as an inspector or a lieutenant, and you have such people around you, age mates of your father, they usually are a terror to even young officers. And when we were in Kiganjo attending senior training, we were told those people, if they have daughters, don't even greet her. This fellow can go to the PPO and cry, and you'll be taken to Dunyang. For your information, Dunyang is not one of the worst places. It is just because it was mentioned the other way. So they take their advantage of being close to the bosses to undermine even inspectors and lieutenant general. Kwanza, if you've got to, even if you go to senior training wing for further promotions, for example, you are an inspector or even an OCS and you are going to attend a course for promotion or anything, they can really, there is this thing that they call extra drill. They can perform extra drill on you to an extent that you'll really be tired or whatever. These are first of all, this what do you call, Defense Force Sergeant Major. He has an office, he has a driver, he has everything. You may find that a major, company commander, cannot talk to the army commander for more than 15 minutes. But you'll find that the army sergeant major has every week, let's say, 2 hours to talk. And okay, nowadays they are a bit educated, because I was told the other time that the, what do you call, the Laikipia regimental sergeant major had a diploma in education. So these days they are really educated. But during our time, these are people, even English was a problem. That is all for today. Thank you and God bless you.